Greetings travelers, and welcome to another Tempo Strategy Wild Hearthstone video. Madness at the Darkmoon Faire is set to release on November 17th, and while going to the Darkmoon Faire is always an exciting time, not everything is as it seems. The Darkmoon Faire has been corrupted by the old gods, the ancient and horrific deities who threaten to twist Azeroth into a world of eternal torment. We're already familiar with them in Hearthstone thanks to the Whispers of the Old Gods expansion, but what are they doing here at the Darkmoon Faire? We'll have to wait and see once the new expansion launches. In the meantime, the new versions of the old gods have been spoiled, and from what we can see so far, they're powerful cards that have the potential to shake Hearthstone to its foundations. So just how do the new old gods stack up to their original versions? Let's take a closer look at each of the old gods and the possible decks you can build around them in the wild format. As always, before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Strategy YouTube channel and to turn notifications on to stay up to date with our wild Hearthstone content. Starting us off, let's check out the latest version of Yogg-Saron Master of Fate. Like the original version, Yogg-Saron Master of Fate requires that you play a multitude of spells to reach its full potential, but that's where the similarities end. The new Yogg's battlecry spins the wheel of Yogg-Saron, which has a variety of powerful results. Effects like Curse of Flesh, Devouring Hunger, and Mind Flayer goggles ensure you come out ahead on board when you play the Master of Fate, while Hand of Fate and Mystery Box adorn you with random spells and are throwbacks to Yogg's original form. All of these outcomes have the same 19% chance of occurring except for the final one, Rod of Roasting, which gives Yogg a 5% chance to cast Pyroblast until someone dies. Overall, Yogg-Saron Master of Fate has a variety of outcomes that tend to be more beneficial than disastrous, and since it only takes 10 spells to activate, it's much easier to make the most of it than the original. You're bound to see new Yogg as a potential finisher for a variety of archetypes, especially in classes like Mage and Paladin, which are adept at casting multiple spells throughout the game. One archetype we're especially looking forward to with the new Yogg-Saron is an old classic, Turbo Yogg Druid. Why play only one Yogg when you can play two? Turbo Yogg Druid plays a whopping 23 spells in order to get the most mileage out of both Yoggs, and since most of these spells cost 0 or 1 mana, you can power through the deck quickly with Gadgets and Auctioneer to ensure that you can draw and play both versions of Yogg. There's no better way to let Yogg take the wheel, and while it might not be the most reliable strategy you can take to the wild ladder, it's certainly the flashiest. Next up, we're also excited to see the updated form of Cthulhu, Cthulhu the Shattered. The original Cthulhu had a monstrous damage-dealing battlecry that was powerful in its heyday, but it's fallen out of favor in recent years since it's hard to summon enough Cthulhu cultists to make its battlecry worth it. However, its new incarnation, Cthulhu the Shattered, is a strong and independent old god who doesn't need anyone to worship it. New Cthulhu does a whopping 30 damage split among all enemies with its battlecry, but there's a catch. Cthulhu shatters at the start of the game, and you need to assemble its pieces before you can finally play it. Each piece is a spell that needs to be cast first, then once you cast all 5, Cthulhu the Shattered shuffles back into your deck. So just like the old Cthulhu, new Cthulhu has some assembly required, but that's not too hard to do in the wild format. Many classes have the means to draw through their deck and get to the pieces quickly. For instance, this Cthulhu warrior deck has a tidy package of card draw and defense with Risky Skipper, Ankar, Acolyte of Pain, and Battle Rage that can draw all of Cthulhu pieces with ease. Add in Armorsmith and Eternium Rover, and you're gaining armor, drawing cards, and dealing AoE damage to the board to keep your opponent at bay. These defenses give you plenty of time to draw your deck, put the pieces of Cthulhu back together, then use its battlecry to annihilate your opponent. Will it be enough to conquer the latter? We're excited to see what Cthulhu can do when Darkmoon Faire arrives. The first two of the new old gods were throwbacks to their original forms, but the next one, Yogg-Saron the Defiler, is a much different monster than its predecessor. The new Yogg-Saron adds copies of the corrupted cards you've played this game back to your hand, and these copies cost 0 mana for this turn. Now, we've seen throughout Hearthstone's history time and time again that anytime you can make a decent card cost 0 mana, it will have the potential to break the game in half. In Yogg-Saron's case, it's hard to gauge exactly how strong it will be, since only a handful of new corrupt cards have been spoiled, but if there are enough playable corrupt cards, Yogg-Saron is sure to be a slam dunk. Again, since very few corrupt cards are spoiled right now, we can only speculate on the best class to use Yogg-Saron, but this corrupted Silverhand Paladin deck is a fine starting point for experimenting. Swarm the board with Silverhand recruits while upgrading Day at the Fair and Fleethoof Pearltusk with your more expensive buff cards, and if the game goes long, Yogg-Saron is on deck to refill your hand with corrupted cards and grow the size of your army. We're bound to see even more powerful Yogg-Saron strategies emerge as the rest rest of the set is spoiled, so Yogg-Saron the Defiler is definitely a card to keep your eye on. The last of the new old gods, N'Zoth, God of the Deep, is the biggest mystery of them all in terms of what the best way to utilize him is going to be, but don't let the mystery fool you. The new N'Zoth has the potential to be one of the strongest old gods of them all. Like the classic N'Zoth, new N'Zoth resurrects a swarm of specific minions, but instead of death rattle minions, N'Zoth, God of the Deep, revives one friendly minion of each minion type. There are plenty of strong decks that focus on a single minion type, but there aren't any decks that want to build a menagerie of minion types yet. N'Zoth is going to inspire new archetypes that either play many powerful minions of different types and revive them all as a finisher, or that play a specific set of minions that form a powerful combo when they're all on the board together. Or why not just do both? Reno Mage with Luna's Pocket Galaxy is a powerful deck that can easily fit in powerful minions from every archetype and assemble powerful combos to boot. With this style of Reno Mage, you can use N'Zoth to summon Calicos along with Zephyrus and other powerful minions, then cast Potion of Illusion for 0 mana to rebuy all of these minions to play again in future turns. This late game combo has enough value to grind out even the greediest of control decks, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're bound to see other crazy combos emerge, even some that can end the game right there on the spot, which makes N'Zoth, God of the Deep, potentially one of the most powerful cards of the set. Altogether, the new old gods carry on their legacy of being combo enablers and finishers, and they are sure to have an impact on Hearthstone's wild format. The madness at Darkmoon Faire is right around the corner, and these are only the first of the exciting new cards we'll see as spoiler season continues. Which cards are you the most excited to try out once the new expansion launches? Let us know in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Strategy YouTube channel and to turn notifications on to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Thanks for watching!